Right now, somewhere in the world, a person is crying and they don't know why. Not from pain, not from an onion, from a feeling. No other animal on earth does this. Dogs whine, elephants trumpet, chimpanzees scream, but nothing sheds tears because it's sad. Only you do that. Why would evolution build something so strange? Tears cost water. They blur your vision at exactly the moment you might need to see clearly. A predator, a threat, a way out. In the wild, weeping should get you killed. And yet here you are, still doing it. Let's start with what tears actually are. Humans produce three kinds. Basal tears keep your eyes lubricated, all day, every day, without you noticing. Reflex tears flush out irritants, smoke, dust, a chopped onion. Those two exist in almost every mammal. The third kind is different. Psychic tears. Emotional tears. And they are, as far as researchers can tell, entirely human. In 1985, biochemist William Frey ran an experiment that sounds almost too simple. He collected tears from people crying at sad movies, and compared them to tears triggered by cutting onions. The emotional tears contained higher levels of stress hormones and proteins. Your body was using crying to physically remove something from your bloodstream. Grief, it turns out, is partly chemical. And crying is partly a cleanup crew. But that's only half the story. Because if crying were just detox, you'd do it alone, in private, and never in front of anyone. Instead, humans cry in rooms full of people. At funerals. At weddings. In front of coworkers they barely trust. Why would a system built to purge stress hormones also need an audience? Here's the uncomfortable answer. It might not be for you at all. Psychologist Ad Vingerhoutz, who has spent over a decade studying tears at Tilburg University, proposes that emotional crying evolved as a signal. Not a symptom, a message. Think about what a tear actually looks like from across a room. A wet streak on a face is visible from much farther away than a frown. It catches light. It's slow. It lingers. Vingerhoutz argues that crying may have evolved specifically because it's hard to fake and impossible to ignore. It says, without a single word, I am in distress, and I cannot hide it. That's a strange thing for a species to evolve, unless vulnerability itself became an advantage. And that's exactly what may have happened. Somewhere between 1 and 2 million years ago, human ancestors began living in larger, denser social groups than any primate before them. Survival stopped depending only on strength. It started depending on cooperation, on knowing who would help you when you couldn't help yourself. In that world, a visible, undeniable signal of suffering wasn't weakness. It was information. It told the group, this member needs support, and is too depleted to fight or flee. Tears may have functioned as a built-in white flag, one no predator could exploit, because predators don't organize rescue missions. Only humans do that for each other. Consider what happens when someone cries near you. Something changes in your own body before you've even decided how to respond. Researchers at Tilburg University found that photographs of crying faces triggered more perceived sadness, and stronger urges to help, than the exact same faces with the tears digitally removed. Same expression, same eyes, same mouth. The only difference was the wetness on the cheek, and it was enough to change how strangers judged another person's pain. Your brain isn't just recognizing an emotion. It's reading a signal shaped by a few million years of group survival. There's a reason this only happened in humans, and not in wolves, or dolphins, or elephants, all animals with rich social bonds of their own. Some researchers point to something you probably never think about. The human face is unusually bare, unusually visible, unusually easy to read. Combine that with an emotionally exposed species that needed to trust strangers outside its immediate family, and a slow, silent, undeniable signal becomes far more useful than a sound. A cry can be faked. A scream can be performed. But welling, streaming tears are notoriously difficult to summon on command, which is exactly what makes them trustworthy. So the next time tears show up uninvited, at a funeral, in an argument, watching a film that shouldn't have hit that hard, consider that you're not malfunctioning. You're running code older than language itself. Before humans had words for grief, we may have had tears for it. Before we could say, I need you, our bodies may have already been saying it for us, one silent drop at a time. Which means every time you've cried in front of someone else, some ancient, buried part of your biology wasn't asking for privacy. It was asking, quietly, to be seen.